one of the great champions in sports, Mark Messier, joins us now. Mark, welcome. How are you? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Good to see you, too.
How's everything?
Well, it couldn't be better.
How's this week, Mark? You like sporting events and big events. You interested in the Super Bowl at all this week?
Absolutely interested. What a great week for sports in general here in New York City. 2 outdoor games at Yankee Stadium for the NHL. The Knicks are playing the Super Bowl. If you're a sport fan right now, you got to be here in New York City.
How about you like the outdoor? You like the whole scene? Would you have liked to play in these? Did you ever play in a game that's anything like this kind of game?
I played in the inaugural one in Edmonton, the Heritage Classic.
You did? Okay.
Almost 10 years ago, and I was an active player at that time, and I went the Rangers gave me permission to go back and play with my old teammates in Edmonton. We played an alumni game before that game against the Montreal Canadian alumni, so Guy Lafleur and all the great players from Montreal. So that was the first one, and you asked me if I like it. I can't believe the success it's been.
The people love it. The fans love it.
The fans
people on TV like it. The TV ratings are great. It's a good visual, but I guess the key is, do the players like it? And it sounds like the players get a kick out of it, huh?
I think it's a great team-building opportunity for the players to get the chance to play in it. The fans across the country are telling us they want us to become regional. It's a great time for us as a league to stop and reflect on the greatness in the past and the present and, of course, the future. So, overall, it's just been a home run. No pun intended, but a home run for the NHL.
How about this year's Rangers edition? How do you feel about the team right now?
Well, they got off to a tough start. They had a tough schedule.
Really tough, yeah.
With the 3-year renovation, last year in the renovation there, they started on the road 10 straight games, and all their travel was on the road. So I think coming into the season, they knew they were going to be in tough. Coaching change, that took some time to come together, but I don't think there's a team in the league that's playing better than the Rangers right now. I expect, and I said 10 games ago, I expected a strong second half, but they're really coming together. They got a lot of balance. They're going to be in the conversation at the end of the year come playoff time in the East for sure.
What can you see? What can you see that has to happen for them if they're going to have, say, a good postseason run this year? What has to be there?
Well, always he starts with goaltending.
Right, which they have.
Right. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons.
Does the power play look better to your eye? Does it
everything looks really good. They're penalty killing, but the style of play that they're playing right now, they're playing fast. They're controlling the puck. They're getting balanced contribution from everybody. They've seemed to got some synergy on their lines right now. They've kind of established who their first line is. So a lot of things have come together. And of course, when a new coach comes in, all that takes time. And I think the biggest difference I see right now on the team is I think they believe in what they're doing. They believe in the process that they've gone through, and their play reflects it.
How about the break for the Olympics from a coaching standpoint? You were even thinking of dabbling in coaching this year. Would that be an issue? Would you worry that you could get your team back together for a stretch run after being away, where they go play important games, exciting games, intense games, and then have to come back after a long break and get the team back together again?
Well, when you're playing as well as the Rangers are right now, you'd hate to break at any time. But I think the real answer is that the rest will do the players good. When they come back, it's going to be up to the players to make sure that they take care of themselves in the break. So when they do come back there, they have the ability to kind of get back to the level they were previous to the Olympic break. But overall, it's what it is. We all want to see the Olympic hockey. I think I was there in 2010 in Vancouver. That was one of the best hockey experiences I've ever had in my life.
Really?
I wasn't even playing. So I think the hockey world realized that this is important for our game and for the players as well. So we break, we come back and finish off the season and get into the playoffs.
So you think, and we're talking about Mark Messier here at 3 o'clock, coming to you from the M&M store, as one of the ambassadors of the sport, you think the Olympics does help grow a game, right, and to sell a game? You think it's important the way it does it worldwide with everybody watching?
I come from a time where I used to watch Olympics where the amateurs played, and the guy held down 3 jobs and had 4 kids and was scraping nickels together to train to get ready for the Olympics and those kinds of stories. So I've seen both sides of the Olympics.
Right.
But in the end, I played in the Canada Cups before they had Olympics, so I had the experience of representing my country.
And those were big.
They were huge. They just weren't the Olympics, but the competition was the best in the world. Now, in the Olympics, we have the best players playing against the best players, and it was hard for the other countries to compete against the Russians because technically, although they weren't professionals, that's all they did full time, so they were professionals.
They played a lot of games. They played all year, right? And they had a lot of, and they played together for year after year, no change in the people, right?
Very rarely, and they toured around the world and played, and they were a formidable opponent for a lot of years.
You think that loss, that movie's out there, and everyone's watched it, that Miracle movie that's been on and stuff. You think that loss really, do you think that really shattered that Russian team to finally lose like that? I mean, they had won so much. Do you think that was just a blip in the screen, or was that a loss that really stuck to their bones?
There's no question that they never, in their craziest plans or dreams, that they thought they could lose to that.
They had won 10-3 in the Garden, right, a couple of weeks before.
And it just goes to show you what sports is all about. You never know what can happen. You get a group of guys that believed in their mission, their cause. They had a coach that was at the right time, at the right place. The players, the mission, the opportunity. But the biggest thing that I always take out of the movie and that whole thing going back to 1980 is where preparation meets opportunity.
Boy. Yeah, he was very focused about getting them to play for the USA, but also the idea that we're going to be the best conditioned team and we're going to take it to them. Everyone's been afraid to take it to them. They took it to them aggressively.
Well, that was one thing that they could control, is their willingness to compete and their willingness to be not over. At least that was one area that they could compete with the Russians, is their conditioning level.
Yeah.
Maybe not in skill, maybe not in experience, maybe not in all these other things, but that's one area there. And so he was determined not to get beat on that particular point. And in the end, it's probably really what separated them from the teams and gave them the ability to take advantage of the opportunity.